it seems like people are still confused. Someone that's not confused is Mossab Youssef. He's the son of a founding Hamas leader, and he's the author of Son of Hamas. Thanks so much for joining the program. You know, I'm always curious because we have so many Americans here that don't understand Hamas. Can you paint the picture for the audience of who we're dealing with? Some have referred to them as Israel's ISIS. Why do they say this, sir?
Well, good morning.
Morning.
It's the wrong comparison, to say Hamas and ISIS, because I think Hamas is a lot more dangerous. Look at the division and the global confusion because of Hamas. They brought us to our knees somehow, by their brutality and their barbarism. Brutality is even underestimating Hamas act. Hamas is a religious movement, and they are raging a religious movement against Israel. This is what they are doing. The mainstream media cannot say this because they're afraid to ignite a religious war. And what I say, it already is. They want to annihilate the Jewish people because they are Jewish people, because they are Jewish state. This is why they hate Israel. They want to establish an Islamic state on the rubble of the state of Israel. Campaign, their campaign title is Tufan al-Aqsa, which means the flood of Al-Aqsa Mosque. So it is a religious situation, and we just need to expose them for what they are. They are not a national movement. If they were a national movement, a political movement, you can satisfy their ambition somehow. You can negotiate with them. But when they are a religious movement, that they don't believe even in political borders, that they are driven by dark hatred towards a race, towards a nation. And we saw that when they killed people indiscriminately. It's all evidence, of to what extent Hamas can go.
Mossab, how did you become a Christian? I mean, because we've talked about it. It's hard because what we've read, what we know about Hamas is they indoctrinate children at an early age. And you can let us know if that's correct. But to hate other people, to kill the Jews, to kill Americans, how do you fight that when they have been indoctrinated at an early age? And how did you come to know Christ?
Well, yeah, this is a good question. Well, first of all, I did not become Christian. I did not leave Muslim to become Christian. I was fascinated, and I'm still fascinated by by Christ consciousness, which basically, in that region, where hatred is taken over. I did not see that our problem was Israel. I saw that we had a lot more complicated problem within our society. And I found the teachings of loving thy enemy, forgiveness, compassion, the power to be crucified and stand above pain and stand above misjudgment. I saw that there was lots of power to that. And this is why I made the choices I made. I haven't been in a church. I lie to you if I tell you I'm a church goer. Many years now. But Christ consciousness continue to influence me and ignite the light within. Because we live in a dark world, and men think that they are superior to God. But they are not. Actually, why we are in crisis right now, because we don't have God in our hearts. We have abandoned God, and we became very confused. And now the enemy attacked us.
Let's talk about the enemy. You write in your book, and you talk about how your dad was one of the founders and how you had to break from him, saved his life many times, but he still disowned you because he doesn't fully realize that. So you start working with the IDF to unearth them and unwind some plots before they happen. You also write that in 2006, nobody thought that Hamas was capable of taking over the Gaza Strip, but they did in 2 seconds, kick Fatah right out. Are they capable of putting up and withstanding an IDF invasion? Do you think they're that strong, or do you think they've already run from the fight?
their strength that they are hiding behind children and women and many civilians. In fact, this is what they did. They surprised Israel on Yom Kippur. It's a holiday, and then they ran very quickly to hide and use human shields. They have many tunnels, they used the funds and the aid that came to Gaza, instead of it went to the people, they used it to dig tunnels. And this is what they've been doing, digging tunnels under the ground. So it's very hard to deal with this type of suicidal group of fighters who basically don't appreciate life. They don't praise life. They actually looking forward to death.
The next life.
So this is why it's very hard, for not only for Israel.
Mossad, do you think they're there, though? Do you think they're still there, or do you think they're trying to get out through the Rafah Pass?
No, I think they are still there, and they are preparing. And the reason that Israel is delaying their campaign because they're gathering intelligence, I think they should wait a little bit longer, because without intelligence, without information, knowing the tunnels' mouths, and the Hamas movement on the ground, it is going to be a very difficult war.
Mossad, exit question, final question for you. Ultimately, once the ground invasion does start, the goal of the IDF and the Israelis is to rid the world of Hamas, which your father founded. Given what you've said about how it's a movement, not necessarily people, but it's a movement, is that possible?
Yes, it is possible. But Gaza front is not the only front. First of all, Israel must destroy Hamas infrastructure, including the tunnels, and whatever it takes. That's number one. Number two, Israel need to deal with the head of the snake in Doha, in Beirut, in wherever they are. Cut the head of the snake and let the tail die. We won't be able to destroy Hamas as an ideology, but we can definitely overthrow them. Now, I don't know how much this will take. This is why I recommend that we gather intelligence and we enforce a very powerful, unbreachable siege. It has to continue for long enough. Those tunnels, they need ventilation, they need power, they need communication. Now, if we cut the power, fuel, even water, oxygen if possible, long enough, this could take long weeks. And we know where the tunnels are in general. They are close to the siege. They are close to the border with Israel. We have offensive tunnels. Those we know for sure that the hostages are not in the offensive tunnels. Okay. They are most likely in tunnels under the city buildings.
Sure.
So at least we
possible.
can begin with the offensive tunnels, destroy those, then we can move to the next stage. But we need a very strict, unbreachable siege to deplete the enemy. If we go in immaturely, then we might pay a very high price.
Got it.
Mossad, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on and educating us about
Welcome, and thank you for having me.
Pick up his book if you want to find out how this whole thing started.